Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the northwest of England. My name is Sam and we just sit here on this channel and faff about with beads and wire, don't we? And today I thought we would have a look at how to make these beautiful dangle earrings. Absolutely gorgeous. I've made these in copper, but you can make them in brass, anything you like. All right, so stick with me and we'll learn how to make these. Right, my friends, let's have a look at how to make these cute earrings, shall we? There we go, aren't they gorgeous? I'll just show you actually a pair that I made from brass and red because I'm moving my brain towards the Christmas period and I just think the gold colour and the red look really, really festive, don't they? I think they look really, really sweet. So you can make them in any sort of colour that you like, but today we're going to be using copper and these lovely seed beads. So as always, I will stick a list of the materials that you need down below in the description box. These are really, really cute. So you're going to need some lengths of wire. Obviously, if you're making a pair of earrings, if you're making two, you're going to need 3 for each ear. Okay, so that's 3 1mm, or rather should I say 6 1mm, and that is 5 centimeters length. And then you're going to need 0.8, that's 20 gauge, 3.5 centimeters in length. So you're going to need 6 of each. Okay, so let's just take those away. So this is what makes one earring. So we'll go through what we need to do now. Let me get my pliers. So the first thing we need to do is to take your 3.5 centimeter excuse me, wires. All right, so the measurements obviously that I'm going to give you today are all based around my plier. So I'm going to be using 2, 3, 4. So that's a third one along, so that's a 4mm increment as well on my plier. So you just want to bend it round and make some U shapes like this. There you go. Similar to the horseshoe kind of design, isn't it? That we've done in the past. So you do this with all of your 6 little pieces of wire so that you have this. Obviously I'll just do 3 for now. And then we want to come in with our hammer and our little block. And I'm just going to literally hammer very lightly the bottom of the loop, just because it makes it look like it's got like a pretty effect. Yeah, so you do that with all 3. So that's the only hammering that you need to do, which is good, isn't it? All right, so we've got our little 3 pieces here. So I'm using the first mandrel. So what we do is just take the very tip of the wire and make loops. We've made these shapes before, haven't we? But we're just going to construct them in a slightly different way to make these lovely earrings. So we just bend that around. So we have this. Now don't worry if it looks a bit messy at this point. We'll come in and tidy that up in a second. So round the mandrel to make your loop. Yeah, and then however you want to do the second one. Do it from behind, do it from in front. It's up to you. And then we'll do the third one. Obviously I'm just going to be showing you the one earring. So everything that I'm doing, just replicate it for your second earring. So you'll need 6 of these. So then I'm going to come in with my plier, and as you can see, they're a little bit offset. So all I do now is just straighten these up. And the reason you straighten them up is because when you come to suspend them off the loops, if you don't straighten them up, then they won't hang straight. Yeah, and everything looks a bit higgledy-piggledy. So just do that with all of them. Straighten them up. Just come in and make sure everything is nice and even and straight like this. You see that? Pretty little components. and then just do the next one. And we'll just straighten that up a little bit. Yep. So the good thing about wire, isn't it, that you can manipulate it a little bit if things don't look perfect first time round. So this is what we have. We've got our 3 little centerpieces. Right, let's just put those to one side for now. So then we need to take our 5 centimetre lengths of 1mm wire, and I'm going to be using the 6 step on my plier, which is a 9mm increment for me. Now if you've got a 3 to 10 plier, obviously you can do the same thing, but just slightly alter your lengths of wire. Maybe add, I don't know, probably about 5mm, 10, you know, maybe, I don't know, I'll work it out and put it in the description box if I remember to. But you know you can do it. You guys can do it. Just work it out for yourselves. There we go. Maybe I'll get a 3 to 10 plier. I've had these pliers for a very long time, so I'm kind of used to using them. So you do the same thing and pull these guys round. Although we're not going to hammer the bottoms of these because we are actually going to be popping some pretty beads on them. Yeah, and you can't do that if you've hammered it. So what I do now is on all of the pieces, using the first step again, is to put a loop just on the one side. Now I'm choosing to do it on the right, obviously, as I always say, if you're left-handed, just reverse what it is I'm doing here. And then the third one. There we are. So we've got our components ready. So obviously, like I say, if you're going to be making a pair of earrings, you'll have six of each. Okay, so in now comes our beads and our little jump rings. So these are 0.8 20 gauge 2mm jump rings. Now it does seem like they're tiny. That's fine. You know, sometimes it's nice to make something a little bit more delicate, isn't it? And you're going to need some seed beads. So here, my beloved Preciosa seed beads. Yeah, I adore these things, and if you've been watching me for long enough, you've seen me using these before. So these are the Preciosa size 5, and they're pearl cream seed beads. And again, the Preciosa size 8 pearl cream seed beads. Now, you can use whatever you like with these, but I suggest you use size 5 and size 8. Yeah, I suppose you could use a 6 if you can't get 5s. You just want a larger bead in the center, as long as it fits in between. And I'll show you what I mean now. So let's take our components. So the best way to do this is to start from the bottom. So I'm going to do this bottom piece first. Right, so I'll just shift these guys up so you can see what I'm doing, so that the camera will focus on what I'm doing and not everything else. So take a small component and a larger component and some of your little jump rings here, tiny little jump rings, but that's fine, isn't it? So you want to put a seed bead, a jump ring, a seed bead, your size 8s, sorry, yep, your size 8s, a jump ring, a seed bead. Okay, and then you want another jump ring, and then one of your larger beads, so that's a size 5, and then a jump ring, a size 8, jump ring, a size 8, a jump ring, and another size 8. So I'll just show, make sure they're all pretty much the same size. I'll show you what that looks like. Can you see that? So we've got bead, jump, jump, bead, jump, larger bead, jump, bead, jump, bead, jump, bead. You see that? Okay, so you take your little component and one of your size 5 beads. we want to close this up now so that we don't lose anything. So again, with the first step on your plier, close this bottom or top or whatever, this guy up. And again, just make sure that everything's equal and straight. You see that? It's all fingers and thumbs at this stage actually, so I'll try and get it to camera so you can see what it looks like. So if you need to pause here, you can do. Right, take your next guy here, and what we're going to be doing is constructing it upwards. So we want this and this. So again, we want to replicate the same thing. Oops, upside down, Sammy. So a seed bead, a jump ring, a seed bead, a jump ring, and a seed bead. So we want 3 seed beads with 2 jump rings in between. Okay, so place the little guy inside the big guy. You see that? So one's placed inside the other. And what you want to make sure here is that there's not much of a gap between these 2 loops. Just make sure everybody's nice and tight in there. So the first thing you want to do is to pop this wire here through the center of the 2 first. Take your larger bead and pop it on. See if I can get this on camera. Okay, pop it inside the 2. Just gently draw that back until it goes through. You see that? And then we want to replicate the same thing. So it's a seed bead, a jump ring, a seed bead, a jump ring, and a seed bead. And that's our second step done. So again, close this one up so nothing drops off. A wee around. If you can hear my fan, I apologise. It's really warm in here today. There we go. So then again, we come in with a plier, straighten this up and squeeze them together a little bit. So here is our second one on. So let's take this, and we want to do the same thing. I think that 3s in jewellery look really, really elegant. These I've worn these a few times since I came up with them, and they're really, really elegant in the ear. So again, seed bead, jump ring, seed bead, jump ring, seed bead, and then place your little guy in the center. Now, as you can see, there's a bit too much gap in between there, isn't there? So all you want to do is close that section up a little bit so that that neatly fits inside. Oops. Just a slight bit of fiddle, but you know, these things are a little fiddly sometimes. So can you see that we've got that kind of thing going on? So then you take your long wire through the first 2 loops, pop on your larger seed bead, and then angle it inside, draw this back slightly, and then pop it through the second 2 loops. Yeah? And then we're ready to close this up. So again, seed bead, jump ring, seed bead, jump ring, and the final seed bead. So that's 3 seed beads on either side with 2 jump rings. And again, close this up. We're nearly done, actually. It took me a while to work out the lengths of wire and the sizes of the loops and everything, but you know, I've had fun coming up with these today. not today, well, you know, showing you them today. Okay, so squeeze that together again. Just a little bit more. What you want to do is to make sure that they are straight, as you can see, they're straight, and also that this little guy fits in between with not a lot of gap in between. Right, so we've come to the end now. So we want to get our 9mm jump ring, which I have made on these pliers. So I've used the largest mandrel, which, as it happens, it worked out really well. It fits in very nicely. So we're going to open up the jump ring. And again, similarly, but just with the jump ring this time, we're going to pop the small guy in the center. If you'll go in, please go in. There you go. Pop your jump ring through the first two, and then place your seed bead onto the jump ring. Place it inside, and then bring your jump ring around. Okay, close your jump ring. If you want to make your jump ring a little bit more secure, you know, feel free to give it a bit of a nylon hammer. You know, a hammer with a nylon hammer, just because it gives it a bit more stability. And there is our lovely, lovely earring. How pretty is that? So the last thing we need to do, really, really simply, is to attach a beautiful little ear wire. I make my own. You know, you can make your own really, really easily. I'll put somewhere in the description box a couple of videos about ear wires. If you would like to have a look, then please do. And then just close that up. And there we are, my friends. Gorgeous, gorgeous dangle sort of, I don't know, what shall we call them? Think of a name for these beauties and put it in the description box. Aren't they pretty? They dangle beautifully in the ear. Very, very elegant. I think so anyway. Little bit of movement, you know, with these little sections in the middle. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, let me just pop those on there so you can have a look. And if you're like me and you're looking towards Christmas time, you know, you can make some gorgeous ones in brass and red or gold or green or all of the above, and just have lots and lots of fun making all sorts of different colour combinations. All right, my lovelies, so I will see you in my next video where we'll be having, again, a bit more fun with wire and beads. Speak to you soon. Bye.